Hello everyone and welcome back, and today I'm making another entry into my vlog Return to Eve as I try to step back into New Eden and see where I left off. Actually, I had created a video just literally a half hour ago and went through the whole thing and just realized there was no mic. The mic was either muted or it was set to the wrong setting. I thought it was set to the wrong setting, and 20 minutes just went complete out the door. It was just me flying around with no voiceover and no context. It's like, well, that's not going to work. So here we go. Try number 2 here for my vlog. Anyways, I'm here in Jeddah, and the thing I've been doing this last week has been trying to consolidate all the stuff that I have with my main character here, Alexandra, and get them over to Jeddah. Right now, I'm not in faction warfare. I'm not in any wars, so I kind of have free reign within HiSec. But holy cow, do I have a lot of stuff in HiSec. It is no joke here. So if I actually go by number of jumps, actually you can see, or actually this number by items, you can see quite a lot of stuff is in low sec here. Not sure if I want to try my hand and trying to get to them. But yeah, here's Tianosaid. Let's see if there's anything that's like super. Yeah, that one is very expensive. So this was out in low sec, and I was bringing back a Tech 3 destroyer. I'm like, I got this suit with me, and it said I had almost 3 billion in cargo. I'm like, what? I found it was this suit here. So I'm going to need to bring a special craft to pick that up and bring it back here. So everything else, these are 4,000. That's pretty hefty there, but maybe going down to Tianosaid to pick these up is worthwhile. But that's a long trip, so I'm going to switch this over to jumps, and I still got quite a number of stuff here. But you can see it's all one item. Here's 10. We can set destination there. Right now I'm just trying to get the cheap stuff, get them back to Jeddah, and just start consolidating things because I have things spread out all over the place. There was one station that, for whatever reason, had 5 blackbirds still in the package. I don't know what I was doing with them. I think I was trying to sell them way back in the day, and they just sat there. I forgot about them. I'm like, okay. Well, they have definitely increased in value since the time I built them, like 10-15 years ago. So, well, there's a profit for you. I brought them back, and I sold them into Jeddah. I think I got 2 in Indo-Dixie on the market there. So we'll see if they sell or not. And actually, I can take a look right now to see if they sold. If I go to market orders, and okay, one of them sold. I got one little thing in Jeddah, and we'll go from there. So I got 11,000 cargo hold. I don't have a whole lot of modules. This was actually more for autopiloting, so it's okay. I'll just kind of pilot manually until I get to that station. So anyways, that's one thing I've been doing. The other thing I've been doing is working with my trading alt. Some of her trades are finally starting to trigger, which is good. I'm seeing what kind of works and what doesn't. And yeah, it's been fun. So one of the things that I'm thinking of putting together is a guide on how to do hauling in low sec. And one of the reasons why is that one of the haulers I've been using is a Tech 1 hauler, it's a Nereos. And there have been a lot of changes to hauling since the tier side that was done about 10 years ago. That was a little over 10 years ago. That was a much needed change, particularly in the hauler profession, because in EVE Online previously, the haulers went from like bad to good. Like the lower end hauler, for example, the Badger Mark 1 was not as good as Badger Mark 2. And there was only like 1 or 2 levels of skill difference. Like you had to use Caldari hauler level 1 for the Badger Mark 1. And I think like level 3 to use the Badger 2. Well, I mean, that's what, 2 or 3 hours, basically. And then you jump to Badger Mark 2, then why even use the Badger Mark 1? So the tier side for haulers made them distinct, and now they're all very useful. Some are very specialized, particularly the Galente ones, which are very good. But each race has at least a kind of a smaller, quicker, nimble, I would say blockade runner type of ship. And the other one is the larger, bulkier ship. So here I have a Terra, which is the larger, bulkier ship for the Caldari. While the Badger, which still has the old name, is the faster, more maneuverable type of blockade type of ship. And the more maneuverable ones are ones you can use in low sec as long as you're not transporting heavily expensive cargo. You know, if you're transporting bulk, if you're willing to take a risk but not risk a whole lot, it can work as a cheap man's blockade runner without shelling out 160 million is to get one. Actually, let's see, how much is a blockade runner? It should tell us here. Haulers, advanced haulers, transport ships. Let's see what the crane is. Yeah, there you go. You're looking at 200 mil. Because we don't see Jita. I actually got the, it's only available. Viador, 150 and 160. That's about right. About 150 and 160 million S. Versus a Nereos, which is about 1 million ISK. So you're talking about less, over an order of magnitude less in cost. But again, it's your risk profile and how much you want to risk. And I think I might make a video with regards to that. One thing that's interesting about the Nereos is it has a drone bay, a pretty substantial one. So here's a Tech 1 hauler that was the brunt of the litter at the bottom of the heap. It was the Eteron Mark 1 that nobody wanted. It wasn't even worth building them. And now it's a really good ship. I mean, it's really improved. And it can run a full-size drone bay. It had 30 cubic meters with 15 of bandwidth, so it can run 3 drones. Now, 3 drones is not a whole lot. It gives you something to hold on to while you may be fighting or something like that. But still, it's interesting, and I think it's something worth looking into. All right, so here I'm at Tuben. Okay, there's nothing really anything there, but I can grab these things. There's the Derptron from Just K. Shout out to my Just K peeps, by the way. I saw a former quote mate said hi in a comment in my last video. Great to see you. I hope everything's going well. Fly safe and check your 6 in Eve and in real life as well. And for anyone else from ISS Navy, Team Americas, Littlest Hobos, Insurgency, Usher Khan, I hope to see y'all again back in Eve someday. So it's been great. All right, so I'm going to jump into this thing here because I think this one, if I remember the fitting correctly from the Derptron, actually has, yes, it has the, what you call it, the shield extenders. This was the fitting for a Derptron. It barely fit with max skills, but this was a nice little ship. These, I think they're mine. So let me actually board these. I don't want to rip that one apart. These, however, okay, they don't have anything on them. I think, yeah, these are my builds because this was when I was trying to start very quickly a kind of a PvP corporation, but frankly, no one was interested. I was trying to teach some new players, but I didn't get any takers, so I kind of folded up shop real quick. Let's see, I'm going to strip the fitting here. Go back to my Ship on board ship. So the idea was I was going to kind of take a concept I took from ISS Navy, and that is fit out some very cheap frigates, get some new pilots, hand them these cheap frigates, which were cheap as chips. They can blow them up, no big deal. We have more, and just go out and have fun and learn the ropes of PvP. So this is something I'm thinking of also making another video about, and that is getting started in PvP. I'm very rusty, so I'm hesitant to make this video. But, I think there's a misconception among a lot of newer players that in order to get into PvP, they have to get into an assault frigate, an interceptor, heavy assault ship, Tech 2, you're really expensive, maxed out modules, maxed out skills, and then I'm ready to do PvP, which that's not how things work in EVE. A new pilot can be very effective at PvP early on and almost right out the gate. They can do tackle, they can do some light DPS, they can do electronic warfare. All the advanced equipment and skills that are layered in is just to make you better at that particular function, but that doesn't mean you have to be at the top of the function to do the function. You may only be getting 25% more effectiveness in raising your skills and equipment and stuff like that. But if you can still be 50, 75% effective at a much cheaper cost and much lower skill points, then there's nothing stopping you from doing PvP. All right, let's strip the fitting out of here. And we will strip the fitting off of this guy. There we go. And we should now be able to repackage these, no problem. Yep. And I can drop these now into my hauler. Yep. And now these we can repackage. Stack them all. Like there's actually a little sound that happens when you repackage something. Kind of cool. And the Derptron, we'll keep them there just for history's sake, because it is from Just K, and it does have rigs on it, which I don't rip apart. And it's not far away from Gino, so I can come down and get it with a pod or whatever. All right. Again, I still like this new map layout. I can actually find the ships destroyed in the last hour real quick. So if I'm going into low sec, I'm going to curse. Let's see kind of where the activity is. Providence, catch, head GP. Actually fairly quiet for once. I'm just curious. How many ships destroyed in the last 24 hours? 28. 1, 2, 2 ships. 28 ships the last 24 hours. That's my boys. I'm glad to see that. Head GP, don't ever change. All right, so we're gonna go back to Jita. We're gonna grab our stuff, and we're gonna head on back. There we go. Yeah, so coming up with ideas for new guys, hauling through low sec, maybe getting started into PvP, how to do that cheaply and effectively. Most of the thing, you have a control tower guide. Control towers are not really used anymore because a lot of their functionality got taken away and put onto the new citadels, refineries, and engineering complexes. But control towers can still do a number of interesting things for the solo player and the small corporation. And I think a lot of people have overlooked them. I think that they're dead, they're gone, they're never coming back. Well, CCP has not gotten rid of them completely. They've taken a lot of functionality away from them. But there's still a lot of things that they can do. They can still do defense. They can still store your ships. They can still do some manufacturing. They can still do refining. And that's really actually for the wormhole capsuleers. They still need towers. Okay, but there's still a place for towers in known space. Speaking of which, back to the Nereos, that hauler that has a drone bay. I like drones. The Lente like drones. Apparently the Ukrainian SBU really likes drones. If you've seen the news, what they were able to pull off. Holy cow. The story is wild. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen any of the news recently, how the Ukrainians used drones, how they got the drones in the country, how the drones were used. They got these Russian truck drivers to drive them to the air bases. They didn't even know it. And these drones start popping off out of this truck and hitting the air base. It's something to see. It really is very interesting to watch, and a really change in modern warfare. This is something that every country in the world is going to be taking a look at, and either how to duplicate, this will be hard, but especially how to defend against, because this has changed everything. So we are one step closer to Eve. We're just having to do this on Earth instead of out in outer space, but who knows? It's one step at a time here, I guess. Don't have any sleepers yet. We can already do without those at the moment. So yeah, this is frankly what I've been doing for the a good part of the week, other than also some trading. Gonna head back out into Nullsec here a little bit, back into Curse. So this is one of the things I've realized about Curse. I've tried to make Curse work. I've tried to make the Curse region really work, by bringing in equipment, setting up buy orders for minerals, trying to get kind of an economy going. But the Curse region, which is the home of the Angel Cartel, it's such a poor region. There are no asteroid belts anywhere in that region. You get asteroid anomalies, which is fine. You can get some Arcanor and Bistop. There are some systems with that A0 blue star type of asteroids. Those are very valuable. But outside of those and some ice belts, it's hard pickings over there. And it doesn't seem to have too many miners. So I'm kind of starting to close up shop in Curse, and I'm moving into Molden Heath, where I'm having better luck. Maybe I'll do some activities in Great Wildlands, because there are 3 NPC stations there, which is easier to cover than all of Curse. But I'll have to see, though. I'll have to see. Maybe I need to look at other regions like Stain. Maybe go up north to Venal. I'm not sure yet. Or just stay in Losec and kind of service those areas. It depends where the customer base is. You gotta fish where the fish are. That's one thing I realized. That's one of the mistakes I've made, is like, I call it the if you build it, they will come fallacy. That if I kind of create a market, that people are going to come to it. That's not the case. You have to go where people are currently at and see if you can service that market first before you try to step outside of that. So that's something I'll be looking into starting this week with my trading alt. So anyways, again, don't want to be too long. This is the second time I've been doing this video. It's probably not as long as the first time, but that's okay. I think it's well worth it. But anyways, thanks for joining me. My little journey back into Eve. Just kind of discussing things here. I'm thinking of putting up some guides here a little bit later in the week, time permitting, with some of the topics I talked about, and with maybe some other games as well. So I've also been playing No Man's Sky. Maybe want to do another video on that. I did a first impressions video. It didn't really take off. But I might give it another go here. Now I'm further along and I'm kind of know what I'm doing. I'm not slamming my ship into the planet every time I try to land, and things like that. So anyways, keep a lookout. I'll have some more Eve videos coming up shortly, and I hope you enjoy them. So anyways, stay safe, fly safe, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.